Attention, if you are a life insurance agent, I'm going to share with you in this video how selling life insurance almost completely ruined my life and ultimately left me broke. As a life insurance agent, I left everything behind to pursue this massive dream. And in this video, for months, I would do the work that they told me. I would buy the leads. I would call the leads. I would make the sales. I had $40,000 a month in sales. I would post it on the leaderboard, and then I'd get the chargeback, and then I'd go ahead and buy more leads. And I was told to recruit because this is all that I was sold to do. And ultimately, at the end of the month, I would look up and wonder, like, how am I going to make this work? Where's my bank account? My bank account is not growing. I'm losing money. This is what they're telling me to do. Why is my life not changing? I'm getting the results. What is happening? And in this video, I want to share with you guys the real and honest side of the business, the MLM business that no one wants to expose, that no one wants to share with you, and ultimately how this cycle of death, that I like to call it, once I got away from it and I asked questions and I listened to my gut, I was able to free myself and actually build a sustainable business doing things the opposite way that I was told to do and actually make $10,000, $20,000 per month as a life insurance because I figured out this formula. So if right now you feel like you're an agent that was sold this dream, and that's where it all starts, and you've done the work and you're buying leads and you're sold this promise, and at the end of the month you're asking yourself, I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. This video is going to explain this to you. I would pay thousands and thousands of dollars to watch this video when I was in these moments of my life, struggling, doing the work, looking at my bank account, waking up anxious, opening up my computer from these chargebacks and chargebacks and chargebacks and having no one to go through. I have no idea how I made it through, but this video is going to share with you exactly everything that you need to know. So I got started in the life insurance industry because of this promise here. I gave up everything. I was told to go all in. I listened to a podcast, and the goal was I am going to make $500,000 per year. Look at all those smiley faces. I'm going to sit back, call leads, make money, and have an incredible income. And this is probably what you've been sold right now. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm only making maybe $8,000 to $12,000 right now. I'm in my 20s. Like, I've already done well for myself. I feel I can make 500 grand. That's cool. And that's what I was sold, this massive dream. So something that hooks you in is the first part. So I was so fired up. I was so ready to go. I was ready to make this change. And I was like, I came to my brother. I'm like, we're going to change our lives here. I'm going to make $500,000 this year. You watch me. All I got to do is they have the formula. They have the blueprint. I know I have the skill set. I'm going to figure this thing out. So that was the one thing that first got me hooked. Now, what leads to that is when you finally get started in the industry is now it's time to start buying leads. Okay, so you have this big dream, and the first thing that they're going to tell you is now it's time to get to work and buy leads. So you've just been contracted with your carriers, and you're told, hey, if you want to make thousands of dollars a week, all you got to do is just buy leads and call leads and sell leads. I thought that was easy. I have a product. These people are requesting information. I'm going to call them and I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell some life insurance. But it's not that easy. I spent thousands of dollars each week, over $500 per day of my savings account because I was told to by my upline and leader to eventually try to sell life insurance. Catches, the lead store that I was buying from were old leads, were old data leads that were over 3 years old, that were exposing basically bad numbers that I was investing all this money in. I was buying live transfers. I was told to try this new lead source. And I was buying shared data leads when other agents were coming behind me, either going out there and trying to sell the same person. So these leads that were exclusive or these leads that were going to make me all this money were actually garbage leads. Now, come to find out, those leads are how the agencies make money, but I was told when life got hard, buy more leads. If you're not making the money, buy more leads. If you're not getting the results that you want, it's because you're not buying enough leads. And this is their profit machine. And this is where I thought the problem was. But there's so many underlying layers other than the lead costs that I fell into. So as thousands of dollars go out in lead costs, eventually you're going to get lucky. Eventually you're going to call a lady who is going to make a sale. So what I would do is I would make some simple sales. But the problem is now that I've bought all these leads, I've been told that I'm going to make all this money, and I've been recruited into the business. Now I had to figure out how I'm going to sell the life insurance because now I have thousands of dollars investment. I've left my job. I've left my company. I'm going all in. Now I got to figure out how to sell these people. But the problem is that there was bad training. Learning how to sell life insurance came easy to me because I came from a sales background. But what happens is, at first I struggled. I didn't make a sale for over 15 days my first month as a life insurance agent. And I have a strong sales background. And I had hundreds of dollars coming in each day into lead calls. I'm like, how am I going to make this work? Who am I going to turn to? There's no one in my business that I can turn to that's actually successful that can teach me how to sell. So as the underwriting came through, I had no idea how to underwrite. I had no idea what script to use. I had no idea how to quote someone. I had no idea what the best intro was. I had no idea how to close someone. I had no idea how to do an application. I had no idea of what type of application is better than another person. So for the first month in this business, it was figuring it out. Again, I was just promised the world. And then when I come into the business, the person that promised me the world is no longer there to train me. They're not there to hold my hand like they told me they would. They're not going to be there to hold me accountable like they told me I would. And ultimately, I'm stuck. I gave up everything. I'm sitting in a bedroom at my apartment at the time. And I'm figuring out I just gave up everything and I have no one to turn to. How am I going to make this work? And right now, I was anxious. I was worried. I was asking people for the wrong information and I was not making money because of the training that I was promised never got delivered. So right now, I got a dream. I got thousands of dollars being spent on lead and I have no way to sell them. But eventually, you kind of figure some things out. But the problem is when you start figuring some things out, you eventually start selling some policies. And that's exactly what I did. I remember that first time I made a policy sale, I reported it in the chat and I thought I ran over to my brother's room. I'm like, Zach, our life is going to be changed. I just made $2,000 off this policy. Mr. George and Miss Amanda, my first two clients, his and hers policies. The premiums were over $1,000 each. But the problem is, I didn't know that I put these people in bad policies. And the reason is that you start selling business because you are told by your upline to sell this one company or sell a certain company. It doesn't matter to sell this company because it's going to give them the highest commission. You start selling people and putting people in a bad position. You don't underwrite people the best way. You don't know how to get someone or find someone the best product based off their age and their health. And then what happens is you lose clients. But ultimately, you then get sold and told to sell this one company, this one company, this one company. And there's other companies as you're looking there on your insurance toolkits that are cheaper, that are actually going to be better for them medically as well, that are going to give them more coverage. And then you run to your upline and saying, why am I selling this only company? And that was a really big red flag to me. And then I started putting people in positions that I was uncomfortable. I was told to sell this policy. It is the best for them. But clearly in front of my eyes, I could look and see that this was not the best company for them. And what happens when you sell bad policies? What happens when you put people in the best positions is that you then get chargebacks. So what are chargebacks? This is what almost wiped me out of this business. This was the rock bottom moment in my business. Opening up my computer, $6,300 with the company that starts with an A, chargeback. What is this? So right now, what creates chargebacks is number one, bad leads. So L is the leads. So you have bad leads that you're just trying to just figure out who these people are, who have no idea what you're looking for, and eventually you strike gold. It's like sifting sand, they tell you eventually make a sale because eventually you have so many people and the law of numbers, you eventually strike a sale. But you strike a sale with someone who probably doesn't have a clear pain point. And then you have to figure out the sales portion. You have to learn sales and you're selling things the wrong way. And I was desperate in my business because I had all this money coming out. I had these leaderboards that I wanted to piece. So I started selling the wrong way. I started selling people by just getting them approved or just let's see if we get you qualified or selling them policies that weren't best for them or then eventually selling them things that they didn't need and bam. And then they realized that I had a policy that was bad. And when I sold Miss Betty a life insurance policy and she's been a lead for 2 months and all these people are calling her and then eventually another lucky agent calls Miss Betty and says, hey, why did he put you in this company with a 2-year waiting period? You should be with this company because it's actually best for you. What happens to Miss Betty? She's now longer going to change her policy. She's going to fix income and she's going to go ahead and cancel the policy. And then ultimately, I have bad leads, I have a bad sales process, I have a bad policy or product that I'm going to sell, and ultimately I have customers that are not being retained. And then I have churn on the back end, which creates a nightmare for chargebacks. Chargebacks flooded me. Chargebacks will wipe you out. And chargebacks, as I've spoke to people, can go up into $40,000 and $50,000. And how are you going to pay this back? Because you've already been primed, you've been told to do more and more of this, and it's creating a bad system. But here's the problem. After all of that, I was buying the leads. I was calling the leads. I figured out how to sell. I was making sales. I was posting the sales on the leaderboard, 20,000, 30,000. And eventually I was going out there and realized that my policies were being replaced, that the policies were not being placed, meaning that they never made their first payment, that they had issues with their policy. but I didn't have the time to nurture the clients because all I cared about is how can I make money. And I thought sales was going to solve my problems because my bank account was getting sad. My bank account was not growing. And I thought the way to fix this was what they told me to do. But there were so many underlying errors that I didn't fall into or realize that I now realize that they told me when I went to my upline. I remember looking, I was like, can I just see this other agent? He's saying he's doing this well. Can I see your bank account? Bank account was broke. I went to another agent. What's your bank account like? His bank account is broke. I went to this other agent. How are you doing? You just sold 50,000. Bank account was broke. What is going on? And this cycle of death continued to plague. And as you go to your leader, and as eventually you feel this feeling in your heart and in your bones, you get this tingling. There's something wrong. What does your leader tell you to do? Two things. Number one, recruit, which is right there. Bring more people in. The reason that you're not making money is because you're not recruiting enough. The reason that you're not getting the results that you want is because you're not recruiting enough. The reason that you're not making the money that you want is because you don't have enough people under you. You got to set up your teams. And this is what I fell into. So I started to recruit. Now my time was not going to customers, not going to people, finding better products or learning how to market or learning how to sell or looking how to, do the business better is now to go ahead and solve my problem being a system that doesn't work and find other people to put them into a system that doesn't work. Sounds like a brilliant idea, but you fall into it and you eventually get some people that come in who do the same thing and then leave because the system is broken. Okay? Or they're going to tell you to fix this problem, to change your bank account, buy more leads. And if the system and model is already broken, where the leads are just 1/4 or 1/3 of the equation, there's so many other broken variables. How is this one problem going to be solved by just buying leads? It's not. But this is what they continue to push on me. And eventually, I lost my mind. I eventually saw it like, okay, I need to figure this out. I had this feeling in my gut. I was tired of being manipulated. I was tired of asking the questions and not getting the answers. I was tired of going through this circle of death of every month, waking up anxious, concerned about my chargebacks. How am I going to make this business work? And I was going broke. On paper, I looked great, but internally, I was sad. And eventually, I started to wake up. Eventually, I started to ask the questions. Eventually, I started gathering the data. And eventually, I hit this point where I could wipe away my eyes and I could see, I could step away from all the big dreams and this fake BS and the fluff and realize, man, I can look at my bank account. I can look at my numbers and issuance and what's actually happening in my life. And it's time to wake up, Peter. It's time to wake up and provide for yourself. You've been sacrificing 40 to 60 hours every week. You're grinding, but you're not making progress. And the minute that I woke up, and the minute that I cut ties and pieced out and wanted to leave the MLM model, people came for me. I was being jabbed. I was being told to hush hush. I was being told to, I'm going to get lawyers. I had lawsuits threatening me because I wanted to share with you. And I wanted to share with people what's actually happening in their life. And I was tired of putting this up. And I was told, and this was the breaking point in my life, do not worry about making other people money or feeding other people's families. Worry about yourself. And that moment came knowing that the leader, the person I looked up to, was not looking for my best interest, was not looking to actually, change my life. They knew that there was an issue, but no one wanted to find out. And when I removed myself and I woke up and I wiped away the fog from my eyes, I could wake up at night and I could change these systems and I could figure out how to generate leads and I can find the best products in the industry and I can find the best script and I can go out there and actually help Miss Betty and put people in the best position and go out there on my own and not listen to the fluff and BS that was poured into my heart and my eyes that ruined me for 8 months. And I could go out there and build my own business the right way that I wanted to do. My life changed. So this is the cycle of death. This death now that you are going through. If you feel you're struggling, not making the money, but promise to keep doing more, to do more, to keep doing more, it's going to change your life. I promise you. If nothing has changed, you need to wake up and ultimately look at who around you has results that you want to have, and do they actually have those results? And this is why I share with you guys this video, is because I want to share with you the things that I wish I knew, the lessons that I wish I actually could realize when I first got started, because this would have saved me heartache, stress, lonely nights, broken nights, and a lot of pain that you no longer hopefully have to go through. I love you guys. I hope this video helped you, and in this video my mission is to help change your life. I love you guys. I'll see you next one. Take care. Peace out. Bye.